Jeffrey is about to graduate high school, but he hasn't even prepared for real life. Oh no, he's ended up like one of those young men who are losers, working a crappy job while seeing their 6 out of 10 female co-worker flirt with their masculine boss. Jeffrey gets on the train to go home, but there's a homeless guy being aggressive to everyone. He doesn't know what to do. He can't fight. Hopefully the homeless guy doesn't target him. No, Jeffrey, don't make eye contact with him! The homeless guy hurls abuse at Jeffrey, and Jeffrey doesn't even stand up for himself. When Jeffrey gets home, he stays up late, consumes content, and eats ultra-processed food. This is the life of a young man who hasn't developed his masculinity, but there is hope. Adonis. Adonis is the most masculine man of all. He's strong, sexy, and successful. He gets what he wants. But Adonis wasn't always like this. He too started with the great struggle of becoming masculine as a young man. But by following these 17 laws of masculinity, Adonis was able to achieve great things. I'm gonna give you the secrets on what makes a man. I transformed from pushover pussy to masculine in my 20s, and now I've helped 2 million guys become masculine just like you. Because I worked hard in implementing these 17 laws of masculinity, I became successful. I traveled multiple countries and finally got the attraction from girls that I wanted when I was a teenager. The reason why I'm telling you all this is because today I'm sharing the things that actually worked for me to become more masculine. The first law of masculinity is take responsibility for your life. Men own their path. No one else does. But this isn't how most men live in the modern day. Most young men blame others for what happens to them. When you don't take responsibility, you're literally passing over masculinity points to someone else. Imagine a life where you own every choice. Every problem is yours to fix. I know that seems like hard work, but this is what will develop you. Because modern men avoid this. They look for someone else to blame. But imagine just being stood there in front of a mirror, looking at yourself and thinking, it's all on me. I have to become capable. Imagine your life where you take responsibility for everything. You would become like that father who can do anything. He can fix anything in the house. Whatever problem arises, he's the guy that the family and everyone go to because he is a well-rounded man who's taken responsibility. Now just imagine this. If you don't become that father, imagine your future daughter not believing that you could solve some problem for her. Imagine your wife not coming to you for help for some kind of problem, but to someone else. You would want to be the well-rounded, capable guy, and the way you do that is by taking responsibility for everything that's happening right now. The next law of masculinity is embracing discomfort. Pain is growth, and so we have to embrace it. But then why are modern men pursuing comfort and pleasure over discomfort and purpose? Because it's easier, and because it's actually safe to be a pussy. The guys who were weak and who stayed inside of their comfort zones thousands of years ago wouldn't have been able to make money, get resources, and they would have literally starved to death. But these days, you can stay in a state of comfort by just scrolling on your phone, watching porn, playing video games, and there isn't a massive cost to that right away. But over a few years, it does start to kill your soul. It starts to kill your spirit, this zest that you should have. What if for you, discomfort wasn't the enemy? What if the next time when you're tired, when you're fatigued, when you don't want to do something, you actually smile and think, well, that's my competitive advantage? Because I'll be honest to you, right here, right now, I don't want to be here recording this video. My emotions are pulling me away, telling me I'd rather do something more comfortable, like scroll on my phone. But as a man, we have to look over that craving of comfort and actually do what's required of us. We have to step into the discomfort because that's where we grow. Whilst modern men avoid hardship, great men walk through fire for their purpose and for their goals. The next law of masculinity is to master self-control. Control yourself, or the world will control you. Modern men have no self-control and they're driven by their impulses. They feel like ejaculating, so they watch porn. They feel hungry, so they eat unhealthy food. They're bored, so they scroll. But just wonder to yourself right now, has following your impulses like a monkey ever actually helped you in life? Have you ever done the right thing and been proud of yourself and had more respect for yourself when you just submit to your impulses and just act like a monkey? Now compare that version of you who has no self-control to the one who has mastered it, who can weather the storm of addictions and this impulse, this drive that we have to do degenerate things. This is the best version of you who's strong and stoic, and I'm going to give you an extra lesson here. This best version of you still gets the impulses. He still gets the cravings and the urges. He just overcomes them one step at a time. The next law of masculinity is building a brotherhood, because men rise higher alongside their brothers. The modern man walks alone, disconnected from other guys. Maybe you had some some friends in high school, but they're not really friends that you grow with. If you're being honest, you probably have no one in your life who's really on this path. Everyone else is into degeneracy, weakness, and comfort, and you stand alone through the trials and tribulations of becoming a strong masculine man. But by your side are like these weak guys that you wouldn't even trust in a fight or in business or around your future wife. You have no one right now. Most guys who follow me are in this situation, and it's so sad to see because you can grow so much when you meet a good group of guys. Just do this right now. Close your eyes and see yourself from third perspective, going hard in your discipline, in your self-improvements. Maybe you're at the gym, maybe you're working out and it's like cold outside, but you're doing push-ups and dips and pull-ups out in a calisthenics park. You're watching educational content like this and you want to make money online. Now imagine 5 guys like you doing it together. Not only are you going to push yourself harder because you've got these guys who are staring at you and telling you one more rep, but you're actually just going to have more fun doing it as well. Like, you could imagine you and your boys working out together and actually having such a good time laughing and making fun of each other. Then you guys are getting healthy food together, and then you're sitting around on your laptops working on businesses. That can actually be a reality with good, strong men by your side, and you will grow more and also have more enjoyment in life. Isolation weakens us, and we know that that's true because of the COVID lockdown when a lot of us were separated from other guys. But brotherhood strengthens us. So find your brothers, and when you do find them, build trust with each other through doing challenges together and constantly demand greatness from one another. The next law of masculinity is pursuing mastery. Great men must master their craft. The modern young man jumps from idea to idea. He watches these videos online and he keeps switching from the business model that he's trying, from dropshipping and then crypto, then investing and then copywriting and then agency and then YouTube, and you probably can relate to this. You just keep jumping around because you're looking for the end result, which is money. That is wrong. Mark my words here. You've got to stop thinking about money and start thinking about mastery. Which skill, which field do you want to become a master in? Because if you become a master, then you'll make money anyway. What if you poured your life into just one pursuit, one business model, one topic, one subject? What if that became your field? You can achieve such greatness if you commit and dive deep into a field that feels right for you. So pick your craft and dedicate your time into one field to get deeper inside of it, rather than having a shallow skim over multiple. Just imagine your life at being a master in the skill that you've chosen. Like, for example, maybe boxing. Maybe you've thought, oh yeah, like I could actually become an amazing boxer, and then I don't really need to focus on money, because if I just become really amazing at boxing, I'd make pretty good money. And then if I learn one other good skill, like for example marketing or sales, I could be a boxer who also knows how to monetize well, and I could be making hundreds of thousands of dollars every year, but as a full-time boxer, so I'm actually living such a fun and disciplined life. The next law of masculinity is honoring your tribe. Protect your tribe and it will protect you. Modern men don't have tribes. They're just depressed individuals who have a shallow connection with maybe the people they go to the gym with or the school or work. But when we look back in history, we see tribes were formed to make men and civilizations stronger. People gathered together with shared values and interests to build together. And then here's the interesting and dark part. An in and out group dynamic was formed. You would protect and care for the people who were in your group, and you would watch out for the people who weren't. And sometimes, if we're going to be completely honest, you would take from the people who weren't in your tribe. Your loyalty lies in our tribe. But when you look over there and you see men from the neighboring tribe try and come over and maybe take your women or your resources, you would fight back. This is still what's happening in the modern day. You're literally still going through the same thing. And this is so apparent if you ever go out to parties or nightclubs. You'll see little tribes of guys and they will literally act in primal ways, trying to take women from one another, trying to take validation and attention and respect, and even then getting into fights with each other. Our caveman brain and nervous system has not changed from these days. And you have to understand this law of masculinity. You have to protect your tribe and look after it and have honor, and watch out for those who are not in your tribe. So be loyal to the tribe that you have here of guys who are looking out for you. The next law of masculinity is discovering and aligning your life to your purpose. The modern man has not figured out his purpose, his great life mission. And so he's directionless. He doesn't know what to do with his life. Maybe he leaves the education system and he's just trying to work like some shitty job or some business, but he doesn't feel what's calling towards him. And you probably relate to this. To become a great man, you have to spend some time in one, solitude, and then two, trying a lot of things to figure out what calls to you, to realize why you are here. There is some kind of contribution that you can make to your tribe. Like there's a special task that you will be better at than other guys. That's what we need to find for you, and that will be the purpose of your existence, which is your contribution to other people. So reflect and journal and ask yourself deep questions. Why was I put here on earth? There's texts from spiritual people who say that we are all magnificent souls who decided to come to earth almost for like a game to humanize ourselves. And there's some kind of task that we are meant to do here to win this game and go back feeling fulfilled. What could it be for you? What were you born to do? Think back to your childhood and think about the things that you found particular interest in. And then when you discover your life's purpose, align your actions to it completely. If your purpose is to help your tribe with their mental health because you've been through your own battles, then 100% of your life should be aligned to that. Every single decision you make should be aligned to that purpose so you can be fully optimized for it. This is how you get self-respect. The next law of masculinity is reject degeneracy. Weak men chase pleasure, but strong men reject it. Society glorifies degeneracy, and you can see this by what kind of content goes viral, particularly on Instagram and TikTok and Snapchat. It's girls and guys who are just showing themselves in really degenerate sexual ways, and they'll get a huge amount of likes and validation. And so most other people who see that do start to feel pulled towards that lifestyle because we all want social validation. But the kind of people who are in that culture are like lesser human beings. They are degenerates. They are at like a lower frequency. And so you don't want to mix with people who aren't in our tribe, who are just the degenerates, like girls who are posting thirst traps and everything. You want to be actively rejecting and pushing those kinds of people away. When you see some girl shaking her ass on your Instagram, click on the little buttons and click on not interested. And if it's like too provocative, fucking report her account as well. Just fuck it. Like actually attack degeneracy to keep it away from you. Imagine a life free from the chains of casual sex and porn, of how much more you would have been able to achieve and have respect for yourself if we never discovered these things. Today, pleasure controls us, but tomorrow, strength could define us if we take these small actions to reject degeneracy. Remove the temptations that are in your life. If there's a girl that you're texting that you know is just completely degenerate and you're just thinking, oh, well, you know, I might still, you know, meet her, I could get head. That's not the best version of you, and you won't have more respect for yourself. You're literally creating a weakness in yourself for temporary pleasure that disappears the moment that situation's gone. You're literally choosing to become a weaker man. Remove these temptations from your life. A problem that you have is that there's no one else like you on this path of self-improvement and discipline that you know in real life. There might be some guys who are going to the gym, but they're still into degeneracy. There's no one else you know in your life who is like this, and that is why you're not making even 50% as fast progress as you could be. That's why I made Adonis School, which is my online educational and community platform for masculine young men to grow alongside each other. It's like a private, exclusive community, and we want more guys to join who would commit themselves to the kind of values that we're talking about in here to grow with the brothers that we have inside already. We have the masculine community. We even do weekly calls with me, and then we have bonus educational courses and full guides that I used to sell for thousands of dollars, all included inside of Adonis School, and I've linked it in the description below, so go check that out if you're interested. The next law of masculinity is to be courageous. Fear kills a man's spirit, but courage builds it. It's said that what you're afraid of is the sharpest definition of yourself, and that you should be touching the line of fear every single day to achieve your best. Whatever it is that makes you feel fear, there's often a good lesson behind it. But when modern men experience fear, they shut down. We've been raised in this motherly culture where we've been pulled away from things that are scary and potentially a little bit dangerous, usually by our mothers. And so now as adults, when we feel fear, we break down because we're expecting mommy to come save us. But I'm gonna give you a brutal lesson here. Mommy's not always gonna be around to save you. And when you become an adult, when you become a man, you're gonna do so many things that your mother just cannot help you with at all, like your business. It's scary to hire someone. It's scary to fire someone. It's scary to start a career and be the new guy there. These are things that will cause fear, but you have to just penetrate with courage. Courage is the skill of feeling fear but doing the right thing anyway. So understand this. You can only be courageous when you feel fear. Like literally, feeling fear is a prerequisite to being courageous. You need to be scared to be courageous. It's not that you're not scared, it's that you are scared, but you do the thing anyway. So confront what scares you and penetrate through it. The next law of masculinity is to respect the warrior code. It's beneficial for every man to learn how to fight. Not every man needs to become a full-time fighter because your career path might be different from someone else's. But every man should at least try and get into the culture. Whether you take it professionally or not, it can be so beneficial to just get your face punched every now and then. Something happens when you go to a boxing or a kickboxing or a MMA gym and you do some sparring and one guy just hits you right on the nose or on the chin and your head whips back. You become a lot more humble. And also, as a side point, it's like you've just meditated for like 1 hour straight. You're instantly present and you're shocked out of that comfort, safety bubble that our mothers and society kept us in. And you're like, oh yeah, shit, like people can actually cause harm inside of me. Like that was like a foreign concept for me for the last couple of months where I've been pretty safe. Modern men rely on others to keep them safe, like the police and government. But more and more we're seeing that this isn't enough. I'm from the UK and there's good people there who just have no fighting spirit at all. They'll go on a day out to London and then randomly get their phone snatched from their hands by like teenagers on bikes, or they might even get confronted and even hit and even stabbed. Now, when it comes to a street fight, there's no winners, and you're just trying to keep yourself safe and get some distance, but at least learning some basics of fighting will help you with that. What if you genuinely could defend your family from any of like physical problems? Like young Jeffrey, when we started this video, and he's taking the train back home and there's some guys shouting at him on the train. That's actually a pretty common experience. Like if you work full time, that'll happen to you like once a year. Like think about this. Before you turn 30 years old, you'll probably have 10 instances in public where someone is just randomly starting on you. That's a lot of opportunity for you to get killed, or at least seriously hurt or embarrassed by some weird guy who's starting on you. And again, if possible, you leave the situation. That's the best thing you could do. But sometimes you can't leave the situation. Sometimes, like Jeffrey, you're trapped on a fucking train and maybe there's 5 minutes till the next stop. And it'd be really fucking good if you've already practiced with like a professional fighter. You've taken hits to the chin, you know how to at least block and defend yourself. So train and learn some fighting because it gives you a lot of confidence. I'm training kickboxing with a pro fighter for 2 hours every day. The next law of masculinity is to cultivate inner stillness. Imagine being a calm, unshakable man who has traits of stoicism, and you aren't pulled away by emotions and overthinking, and you can become like this through meditation. The next law of masculinity is to be strong, physically and mentally. A man should be able to carry his own weight. You should be able to do a few pull-ups, 10, 20 push-ups. You don't need to become a full-on powerlifter, but again, you need to have some basic competence. A while ago, I was talking to a girl about earthquakes. We live in Bali and there was an earthquake here like a few months ago. And I started to feel so safe because I could still get hurt. But I thought, you know what? If anyone is going to survive an earthquake, it would be a man like me who's trained in the gym for 10 years and particularly done exercises. Like I've trained my neck. If something heavy falls on my head, I probably have a higher chance of surviving than other people. And I'm like really strong, like probably like top 1% of like just men in general. Of course, there's guys who are like powerlift who are much stronger. But I thought like if I was trapped underneath rubble, I'd probably be able to get out. And I looked over at this girl who's like 5'2", 50 kilograms. And I was like, holy fuck, like I've never actually appreciated my size and strength as a man before. But if we were both trapped underneath like some rubble in an earthquake, I would probably be fine and she would need help. That gave me like another sense of purpose of thinking, I've got to become strong, not just for me, but for the people that I care about. What if, for example, you've got your children in the car and the doors are stuck and your children are in danger, like, I don't know, the car's sinking or something? What if you're so weak that you couldn't smash open a car window with your elbow? I probably could. I would bet that I probably could smash open a car window with one hit with my elbow. But what if you couldn't? What if you needed to run over to a different guy and ask him to help your children? Now, there's no shame in that. Do what's required. But wouldn't that like fuck with your mind to think you wouldn't be able to get out of certain situations? There's some brutal things that happen. Getting crushed by a crowd is something that happens. If you ever go to like concerts, like there was one some rapper, and like it was like some famous rapper, and like 100 people died in one of his concerts because they were all like basically pushing each other till eventually they just get like crushed because of how many people's bodies are basically squeezed up against each other. Imagine if you didn't have the strength to be able to, you know, like hold your own, to not fall over in a big crowd. This is brutal, right? You've got to lift some weights and get stronger and stronger. Like I said, you don't need to become a power lifter, but when you can bench press 60 kg as a minimum, okay, sweet. 80 kg, nice. 100 kg, okay, that's it. Like after that, keep going for the sport and, you know, for the skill, whatever. But 100 kg, okay, sweet. Like you're strong enough for whatever life is going to throw at you if strength was going to be the thing that you needed. So lift heavy weights, bulk up, build some size, and be strong. The next law of masculinity is to live with truth. Don't lie, especially to yourself. Modern men will lie to anyone. They'll lie to their teachers, to their parents, to their friends, eventually their girlfriends and wives. But most importantly, they'll lie to themselves. You are the easiest person to lie to because you believe your own bullshit. And this is a big problem, because if you lie to yourself, you're showing that you're not even on your own side. What does a self-lie looks like? It looks like a cope. It's like saying like, oh, well, you know, I'm not even gonna go to the gym today anyway because yeah, it should be a rest day. No, but it wasn't planned for a rest day. Oh no, you know, I'm not even gonna do this work task, like this homework right now. I'll do it after dinner time. That's a cope. You're acting like skipping something good is actually productive because of this new insight of like, oh yeah, I'll go after dinner. I'll, you know, procrastinate. And you keep believing your own bullshit. It's weird to say this, but sometimes you've got to think in your own mind. I'm not gonna do that good thing today because I'm being a pussy. Because if you say that to yourself, I guarantee you'll go and do that good habit. If you wake up and say, I'm not gonna meditate because I'm a lazy piece of shit, you'll grab your fucking phone, turn on the meditation app, and you'll start, because you'll be like, wait, I don't want to be a lazy piece of shit. I don't want to have to admit that to yourself. But when you say, oh yeah, I'll just meditate like after the gym anyway, you start creating distrust with yourself. So hold yourself to a high standard and tell the truth to yourself, and then also start telling the truth to people who need to know the truth. Start telling the truth to your family, to your friends, to your people, to your tribe. Imagine back in the old days, if we had a hunter who would go out, but he didn't catch anything for a while, the whole tribe is hungry, and he kept on coming back to say, oh, he's so close to tracking down this boar. He's so close. He's so close. Then imagine we find out he's been lying and he wasn't close. He didn't even have any idea if there was any boars here. Do you see how that could hurt the tribe because we thought something was so close? We weren't spending our time collecting berries or trying to set up traps because we thought, oh, but well, we're going to get a boar soon. The whole tribe dies because the hunter lied to us. So especially to people who need to know the truth to keep themselves safe and in a good place, tell the truth. The next law of masculinity is to have vision. If I could draw masculinity, this is what I'd draw. I'd write the letter A, then I'd write the letter B across from the page, and then I'd draw an arrow from A to be. Masculinity is understanding where you are right now, where you want to get to, and then doing what's required to get there. This is the vision that men need, but modern men don't have this. Modern men live paycheck to paycheck. They're just trying to get through the day, through school or work, so they can come home and play some games. What's interesting about most weak modern men, they have vision, but in the wrong things. They have vision in the video game. They'll set goals for what kind of achievement and level they want to get in a video game. Like when I used to play RuneScape, I would set a goal for 99 magic or 99 range instead of setting goals for my real life. Drifting through life gets you nowhere. It makes you end up at a low tier job that you hate, and then it makes you someone who complains about the rich, saying, yeah, they all just got lucky because they exploited people. No, they all set a vision and a path to success. The next law of masculinity is to grow your faith and gratitude. The strongest men always believe in God, and they are godly, righteous men. They are grateful men. The faithful, grateful man lives a richer life. He realizes there's something above him. There is an alpha male above him that he can submit to. And this makes him more humble. This makes him more of a student. This makes him continue his learning. What would it take for you to become more faithful yourself? And then what would it take for you to become more grateful? Do what's required and you will undoubtedly become a better man because of that. The next law of masculinity is mastering your emotions. So masculine men still feel emotions, but they just have a high level of emotional maturity in which they can feel the emotion and decide what actions to take logically. Weak modern men feel emotions and have no gap between feeling the emotion and acting out whatever the emotion is. So these men will get angry and sad and upset, and they'll feel lazy and they'll sleep in, and they'll do all this just based on how they feel instead of what is right. When you master your emotions, the benefit is being attuned to your body. You'll be in a conversation with a girl and you'll feel something inside of you that the modern man would ignore, but you will know that that is a slight feeling of disgust by something that she just said that revealed like something about her that you didn't like. And you will have the confidence as a masculine man to feel that and to think, oh, okay, I don't really like that about her. And maybe you even have the confidence to say, oh, what did you mean by that? That was pretty disrespectful. I didn't like that you said that. Because you have mastery over your emotions and you know what your emotions are trying to tell you, you're able to convey that to people. Not in an emotional way, but in a logical way. Your emotions can be an amazing indicator for your values. So acknowledge your feelings and process them. Just ask yourself, what am I feeling? And why? Take the time to answer that question and then take whatever action you've got to take logically and rationally. The next law of masculinity is legacy. Your actions today send an echo through to the future. The greatest men always seem to think about legacy. They have lots of children and they think about what they're passing on down their bloodline. But modern men just live for the moment. Modern men don't even want to have children because they think it's like too expensive. Imagine being the strong masculine version of you that has a big family. You see your family full of strong members that you have developed yourself. And as you're passing, you know that you've done a good job. You've left them not with materialistic possessions, but with knowledge and insights, and with memories and stories that they'll tell each other long after you've gone, and so your spirit lives on. So those were the 17 laws of masculinity, and I feel like this is a video that you should watch again tomorrow to let the lessons sink in. Do the hard work, especially when you don't feel like it. Mwah!